to the access. You can see I already have a shell. This is something I built before, but I'm not going to use this. Okay, just show you after finish how it will look like. Oh, you have all of the 7 tables, right? You know that those are the table objects on the left. And each table, I have my structure. I haven't really input the data yet. And this is my customer, my inventory, cashier, other position. I have my salesperson and the cash. This cash is our really like our cash asset or cash asset account in the accounting system. I believe I already have the relations. Yeah, I already have it. So you don't really need the data for you to link the tables. So this is like your final. I will ask you to get some data, but this is most part of this assignment. I'm saying like spring break assignment, right? So database, that's kind of the relationship. The only thing I don't have here is the form and the form for all of the tables and some simple data we can add into the database. And then I'm going to build a new one. Okay, so I'm going to close this. But let me, okay. I already pinned the access into my start. Okay, so if you're already in your laptop or computer, okay, I'm starting a new access. Black one. So I probably need to share again. So after I click on like the app, okay, the Access app, this is similar when you open your Word or Excel or even PowerPoint, right? And the only thing you probably see different is you don't have existing Access database because I already have something before. Okay, I have my the files. Okay, they're asking me, I'm trying to open a existing one or build a new one. No, you probably don't have anything, so you are going to click the black database. So like a new, it basically means a new database. And you also can have some template, like the Word, especially like the PPT template, right? So this one you can use their shell and customize it a little bit to your own needs. It will save you time. Or for example, asset tracking, contact cards, or student rosters. Okay, I'm not going to use, so I will click on open. So double click, okay, if you see. They didn't ask me to save. I can do this. Or if they didn't ask you or ask you to assign a name in the beginning, so I can save from here before I lost it. Okay, so I can say, and let me show you one more time. Because maybe I double clicked. So open again. So black database, this time I make sure I only click once. Oh, it's still going to here. Don't worry. Okay. If the system didn't ask you to name your database in the beginning, so I can save here. Oh, this is the table. Okay. I can do the file. Okay, save it before you forget. Okay, save. And you can save as like for a special location, right? So like if you save, that's your default. So remember where you save it. So I will use a save as, and be very, very careful when you save as, save the database. Don't use save object. you will fail to save if you choose, okay, use the save database and use the first option. Don't use other formats. I wouldn't be able to open, okay, that later. So you will got a problem. Excuse me. You will get a problem for submission of your database if you use other formats. Okay, so use this one, the .accdb. Okay, that's the extension of the file, and save as, and then you can click save as. Okay, that's fine. The closed. Okay, and you can see is like make sure you can the data type. Okay, is a Microsoft Access database. I will save it under my class folder. I will name it like the chapter 6 demo access. Okay, if you couldn't see me, like, this pop-up window, I'm just trying to save to the directory, like to my class folder, and have a meaningful name so I can recognize it later. Okay, and save. So don't worry, because the table disappear, I'm going to come over here to create. Okay, if you create, it will show up again. Because when I save the database, I need to close all of the objects. So nothing, right? So it's a black. And then go to create. If you remember, I'm going to create the first customer table. There are two options, just to use create table. So anyone recall, and you can create all of the columns here, but we prefer always use the design, okay, the design view rather than the datasheet view. So I'm going to switch to the design view, and now I need to name my table. So customer, that's also the one used in the book. And okay, and you should be familiar with this. Okay, I will change this to, I think we need to change this to customer ID or customer number. Yeah, the book asks us to change this to customer. I normally use a underscore. So when we write the coding, it will be simple. Okay, so customer underscore and number. The book doesn't have, or it's just the two separate words. That's fine as well, as long as you use the quotation marks later when you write the coding, or use the quotations to put them together. And the book asks this one to change to a number. Okay, be careful, not a text. Okay, customer they use a number format. And again, you see the different data type, right? So text, numbers, large numbers, date, time, currencies, auto, okay, yes or no, even calculated or lookup wizard. Remember, I use a lookup wizard for the IDs or we can use this for state names, right? And maybe zip code is not really, but maybe for department names or classes, all right, but like just when situation go appropriate. So customer number will be my primary key, right? So I don't need to change it. Then the rest of the field, they want you to check for the how to use the refinement, like these field choices in the bottom. So they said I want my number to be a, let me see, the field properties, and to be a long integer. Okay, we would select, and this one, yeah, long integer is already selected. Okay, just use the default. And then the validation rules, like this one. So validation rules, I require the customer number needed to be 6 digits. Okay, that's something validations. So I can put this is also in the book. I will put like pound. Okay, 6 pound signs to indicate I require 6 digits. Okay, 6 digits format for the customer number format is a long integer and required because this is the primary key is always required. And yes, no duplicate. Okay, for the index card. And the validation text, okay, if like people made a mistake, so we can tell them, okay, like, when you put a wrong format of passcode, okay, customer number should be 6 digits. Okay, that's your explanation when people made a mistake. So it's like a note. So you can see the refinement to ensure the data captured is in the right format and not missing values. And then, so we move forward. Okay, so customer number, and then they have customer first name. So I will just use first name. And remember the name, I also use underscore, and this will be short text. And no property required. Okay, like because the names like it can be anything. Okay, and last name to give flexibilities, also short text, and then customer address. And this is also short text, and then customer city, and short text, and then customer date. Think about this. You can use a short text. They can put their own customer, like the state, right? So like the short names. But how about if I want to put as a like a checkup field? Remember how I can do, like I'm saying, pop up. So I don't want a customer to enter their own state to prevent errors. So how I can do that? I want it to be a lookup wizard. Okay, lookup wizard. And I can show you, okay, but I'm coming back. Okay, so if you want to make it as a lookup wizard, you should have another table holding all of the state names. So when you click on the lookup wizard, you have two choices. I want the lookup field to get the values from another table. You need to have the other table available. I haven't, so I just showing the options. Or I will type, or if not, if it's something not really long list, like I only have 5 like departments or 2 schools, right? So I will type the values that I want. Okay, I can show you briefly that I will cancel that. Oh, so next, then you can see here I need 1 columns. I can put like from, for example, from like Alabama, and then maybe just like saying, okay, think about, okay, Arkansas, and then like maybe Texas, right? This is the way you compile your own list, like CA, California, or others, right? So like Oklahoma, right? Make sense? Okay, is like if you do this later, when they input the state, it will be a drop-down menu they can select, but they cannot overwrite. And you can move on. Next. And you will call this So I finished it. Okay, later I can show you, but you always can use. So when you do this, seemingly still a short text, but when you input the data, it will be showing like a drop-down menu. Okay, I can show you how it appear in the datasheets view. And then zip code and email and zip. For zip code, they want to use a special format. So you want a input, this one. Okay, under the properties, they ask us to show input the mask. So under here, you click on the dot, must save the table. Yeah, save the table. Save the table, and for if you use the input mask, they have different like this social numbers or phone number like format, right? That's also we experienced when we enter the phone or socials, and we are going to use the zip code. It's also kind of restricted format, right? So and passcode extension, right? So long time, so we'll use the 5+4 digits, okay, plus holder. And even you can change this, right? Use the different separation labels. Okay, we'll just use the underscore and next, and with the symbols like this, next, and finish. So similarly, you don't see the requirements, but later when you input, it will require this, special format. Okay, so our data ensure the data format is right and consistent with the normals. And then finally, the email address. Okay, I just short it as email. And this can be even like a short text will be enough. Make sense? So except for the customer number, all of the other data fields are short text, but I did make something different for like refine, okay, like the properties, define the zip code under the input mask. And I changed the state to a lookup. Okay, I always can change back to regular, but I just want you to show you how it look like. So I'm going back to the datasheets view. Oh, you must save, and just click on yes, it's saved, right? So you can see that's all the columns we have designed. And if you do the state, did you see? If I want to enter data, right? So it's a drop down. So because I'm only putting 5 states, you can compile a separate state table to have all of the 50 states name. Okay, so you can look up, or you can finish your listing for all of the 50 states by yourself by editing the lookup menus. Okay. But this is like some just alternations. And even remember, you can even have a validation for the email address, right? So like the format, some people to prevent people using a fake email for registration. So you want to send them a verification or confirmation email, and then they can register. Okay, that's all additional like data securities. Questions? Just one last thing, the form. So you can see I'm not adding data to the customer table directly. Remember the reason? For data integrity and security purpose. So the regular users, or even I'm the salesperson, I'm charging of input new customers, but I don't really see the actual table. I only have an interface for me to enter data into the tables. So I'm going to close this. And so how we can create a form to enter data into the customer. So highlight the table you want to create the form. Okay, have a to create and the form. Okay, so form design, there are different type of forms. So I'm going to use the form wizard. It means it's a simple way or use a form wizard. And you can see it's showing all of the tables. And right now I only have one. Okay, but later after you add the other tables, you have a list. So you choose the tables you want to create the form. And because this is a new form, I'm going to select all of the attributes or data fields by using the double arrows. If you don't need all of them, you can use select individual ones, use the single arrows. But I'm going to select all of them. Next, use the column bar or is a default. I'm using the default. And what title do you want to call your firm? Okay, I will add a firm, so it's different from my table name. Firm will be a separate object in the database later. Okay, so open the firm to view if you don't want to do modifications, right? So you can directly finish. Or if you want to check the design view of your firm, you can click on this and you can finish. It's not really finished, but it's really showing it's like the format, right? So you can change the size and adding some okay, make it like customize, adding some picture or icons or change the color of the forms. So design view of the form. You always can change again, or you change the form views from here. So form view, layout, or design view. I believe this is the design views. And even you can remove some of the fields I don't want. For example, I think the first name is too long. You can see I can really adjust it. Oh, sorry. Here. So I can do this. Okay, one by. You need to see. Yeah. Weight is become like an arrow, okay, like the size. So you can do this one by one. Okay, I don't like this too long. So address probably I need a longer, right? So like a longer space. And zip code will be short. And then the email can be a little bit longer. I will leave it. And you can select different color palette. Okay, I want something bright. And you can add labels, buttons. So people probably can select a button. So for example, put a button somewhere. Okay, I haven't really tried about this. Okay, insert a image or even charts your company logo, right? So I don't have anyone, but it's something you can format. Okay, make your firm look better. Okay, look prettier. And even we can see here navigation control, okay, and option group and insert page break. Okay, like those are what lines. But you can add something, okay, by yourself, for example, like this. Okay, I can add a line here. Okay. But just like showing the ways, okay, now we can go back to the form wheel. Okay, this is how you are going to see as a user. Okay, we can input the data. Now let's try to input our first data. I don't have any other thing. Just to remember is 6 digits. Also, I will use 10001. Okay, you can use your own numbering system. Okay, not really need to follow me. And first name, I will just put like so Nori. Okay, like Kevin. Last name like John.
I have a question, Miss Professor.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So when we're doing this, all of the information is something that is hypothetical. It's information that we make up and put in ourselves, or
Oh yeah,
is
yeah.
that?
The data will be like you can make like I wouldn't really ask you a lot. So probably maybe five. Five for each of the tables will be enough.
And this is on the homework, correct?
is not really in the homework or assignments, is really in the ebook, in the text in chapter 6, the text itself, not really in the after, is not really homework or problems. Is only like I have the page, so it's in the reading parts. If you start your smart book, you should be able to know it.
Okay.
Mm. And I will just use some like not really. I'm just showing you the so how the data will get into the system. So annoying. This X, you just use also XX. But a customer state, right? Remember I chose a, so you can see they must choose from the buttons. And it's showing the zip code. So I will use 07 from here, like 77004 and 3939 and the email. Okay. So, but when you input your data, okay, just make sure you follow the rules. And that's the number one. And then if you move, see here down the arrows, that's how you move to the second record. Okay. And so you can move to the second, you can enter a new one. Okay, but I'm going to show you how the data will flow into. So when you keep the form open, right? So when you keep the form open, if you open your window, oh, it's already there. That's cool. But if you don't see the data immediately goes to the table, so click probably close. If you have your, oh, I remember, if you have your table open and the form open, the data wouldn't get into the table directly. You need to close the table, then reopen it. You would be able to see the data. So for example, let me make a second one. Okay, you see what I mean. For example, I'm going to make a second, okay, 10002. And I just use whatever, okay, I'm showing here. Like Kia. Like this is Houston and state. Also, I choose Texas. And if it's not required, I can skip. You can see that's how I can define. If it's not a required field, you make it optional, people can skip it. Okay, but again, I probably you don't want any of them to be skipped, then you can require them in the field properties when you design the attributes. So again, after I enter this, I move to the third record. Now I see my customer table, right? So you think I don't have the second record. You may ask, oh, what's happening? The data is not in. The problem, you have an opening table. So let's close this and reopen the table. You see the second record got captured. Okay, that's a trick because sometimes when people enter 10 data, like 10 records, they don't see anything in their table. They got scared. So they ask me, oh, what's happened? And that's kind of a trick. Okay, so if you want to see your data, so make sure the table was closed before or close it and reopen, you can see your data. So this is really the nice thing. The data normally don't go to the table directly, but through the forms. Okay. And after I finish, I can close. You can continue, okay, number 3 and number 4. And save. The customer, the form, I need to save that also. So now you can see I have 2 objects. Okay. Table, form. Remember, you also have queries and reports. And then the remaining of the assignment will be you finish the other 6 tables. Like similar, like, create, right? So another table, but this time will be, you can follow the like sales or inventory or cashier. I probably will do it. Anyway, I will do it as a demo, but it will be later after, after you handle the midterm, I will record the remaining of the demo for the assignments. Then you can follow with me to complete over the spring break. But this is just for today. Questions?